It's 2 o'clock. Y'all ready? Might want to stand back here a little bit. Oh, no, sorry, right there. Right there. Okay, let me thank y'all for coming. First of all, uh, my heart goes out to the individual who got shot last night up here to the motel, which used to be the Gold Rush. So I'm praying for you and I'm praying for your family. But what prompted me to come out here and do a press conference today is about a year and a half ago, we were able to close Gold Rush down because of 8 individuals that got killed within 1 year. And unfortunately, it opened up 2 weeks ago and looked like that process has begun again. To this owner who I spoke to about 3 months ago, and to those who run this particular hotel, and to this community, under my watch, I promise you we will not let it get to another 8 individuals that perhaps may lose their life again. One is too many. And so what I have done today, I have reached out to GSO, begin the conversation to find out over the last 2 to 3 weeks how much data they have and the activities that's been going on to this particular hotel. I have reached out with what I call to the hard road uh, nuisance board. Why I call it the hard road nuisance board, I was able to pass an ordinance a couple of years ago because of those 8 killings. The city did not have anything in place. Now we have a abatement board that the city councilman or the sheriff department can go to begin closing nuisance down in the city of Jacksonville. So those individuals who live on Harts Road on the north side of town, rest assured you don't have to wait another year and be afraid to walk or jog down Harts Road. The process have begun. I'm gonna do whatever I can do to make sure that it won't happen again. And I do have some support from this administration and from some of my colleagues. What I've been told, not by the sheriff office yet, that primarily what they're doing over there is running it just like apartments, similar to what Gold Rush was done. I've been told by individuals who perhaps lived there for a couple of days that it's running like apartment again, and that's not the use for that. Supposed to be a hotel. And so I will stop and answer any questions that y'all perhaps may have. Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to see change? Do you want the new hotel shut down?
I do. I want to shut down. If you think about where you're standing at now, in another 2, 3 years, you have a fire station right here. You will have a community center less than a quarter mile going north. You'll have some new townhouses. You're gonna see this community right here transform within the next 2 to 3 years. But long as that's there, I'm not sure it can get any better. So it's my wish or desire as a councilman, even when I leave from being a councilman, because my days is numbered, to make sure I follow this, to do whatever I can to make sure another person don't lose their life.
So if they operate like a hotel and not an apartment, will that suffice?
So it's supposed to be a hotel,
Right.
but they operating like an apartment.
Right.
The owner knows what his license say do, and it's his responsibility to date. You got a hotel license, you run it like a hotel.
So if he runs it like a hotel and not an apartment, will that suffice in your view?
Well, it can be ran like a hotel. That's step one, but it's your responsibility to create the environment that is going to be a safety for the whole community. Those are the two things that this community, want to see, and that's what I want to see.
And so you talked with the business owners, the new ones, right?
Yes.
What was their like goal or their, I guess their
Well, we're gonna have a community meeting 2 weeks from now. It's gonna be in the process of setting that up. Uh, he wanted to come and speak. He got some ideas. He does. I'm not. I don't want to tell him today. He got some ideas that he has to propose to this community before I can support him. And hopefully if Reggie wins and he'll make that decision. But he does have ideas, but that's going to be for him to sell it to the hard road north side community. And if they choose to say great ideas, and then we'll help him make a change, because whatever it is, I believe it may create a legislation change where it has to come through the council.
Gotcha. So he is working with you, it sounds like.
He is, but this not gonna work.
I talked to the chief operating officer a little while ago, and they were saying, they're really trying to run it differently. They've invested $2 million into it. They're not having the long-term stay residents unless they can provide a pay stub. Because they've only got 10 rooms out of 135 rented out. Is that what you've seen?
Well, it's been open 2, 3 weeks. I got a chance to talk to at least one gentleman that was staying there for 2 or 3 days, and in his opinion, he told me he felt like it was been ran like perhaps a hotel. I'm not a hotel, but perhaps apartment. That's his opinion. With my naked eye, I don't know that. Let me say this: he have invested quite a bit of money, but you can invest money and don't run it right. Don't mean it's going to be successful. So it's going to be his responsibility, uh, knowing the situation he's in, to make sure he have security and make sure he identify the right kind of individuals that's going to be living there. Prime example, I would say, last night, I believe the young man that got killed lived in Jacksonville. What I would like to see, people that's moving back and forth throughout the state of Florida live there. That's what most hotels do. Not a lot of people live here, just decide to come right down the streets and get a room.
So he was telling me that the shooter and the victim were staying at, I believe, the Red Roof Inn, and like trespassed onto here. And would you consider closing the other hotels around here down?
I don't have knowledge of that. Perhaps that may be true, but it's your that's his. That didn't happen at Red Roots Inn, so I don't want him to allow none of us to think that perhaps that's what happened. Possible. I'm in the process, like JSO is investigating, trying to find out exactly what happened. But you are responsible for your own, and it happened at his location, not the Red Roof Inn. So at this point, until the sheriff office come and tell us something different, and then I'm still going to hold him responsible. But let me tell you this: regardless, if two individuals live on the west side, come over there, and game related, whatever it may be, and something happens, you're still responsible. It's your property. So I don't care where they come from. It's your property.
Do you want to shut down the other long-term stay
You
hotels
know,
around here?
that we looked at that. That's been proposed, but I would tell you this: when we closed down the Gold Rush, we did not have one crime in 8 months. Every meeting that I had downtown or community meeting, one of the things I said, we stopped the killing. So I'm not. We don't have the data yet that the other two caused any problems. All the data we had was the Gold Rush. Remember, when we closed that down, we had not had one problem in 8 months. Open up in 2 or 3 weeks, got one killing, and that's one census person that lost to whatever reason, and I'm not going to allow two.
Considering the history and the data you talk about regarding that property, does JSO bear any responsibility here?
You know, we all love to put responsibility on GSO, but let me tell you, they task to make us safe is hard enough. But that's why we put laws in place to make sure we all secure our own property. You know, do they carry some of the burden as an individual, as a councilman? I don't think so. I think it's my responsibility to protect my own property first. It's JSO property when now I as a leader, done identify a nuisance to begin the process to gather all the data to make sure it meets my needs or the city needs to take the next step. That's to close it or that's to tear it down, whatever we need to do, because I'm not going to keep living like this. They don't need to keep living like this for the rest of their life. Every 8 months, somebody else buy it in another year, and it's the same thing. At some point, maybe I need to probably create another bill, which I may talk to legal about, that after maybe 2 or 3 times it's been sold and it keep becoming a nuisance, that maybe the city could do something totally different with the structure of it. That's probably the next thing I'm gonna be looking at.
Can you talk a little bit about the requirements to shut down a nuisance property?
And good question. So this is basically new. So the first step to the community, because everybody want me, I got 15 calls a day. Everybody want it closed down tomorrow. So the first step is this: when anybody in the community determine that it may be a nuisance to the community, the first thing we supposed to do is call the sheriff office. Sometimes it can be code enforcement, fire marshal, but you begin to gather the data to determine it's a nuisance to this community. For example, probably it's been open 2, 3 weeks. I know about the one incident last night, one seamless murder last night, but what I don't know how many times over the last 3 weeks JSO done been called there. That I'm in the process of obtaining that now as we speak, but just believe it may be 5, 6, 7 times. That lets you know the trend right there. That it's already begin to be a nuisance. Now, is it that? I don't know. I'm waiting on the sheriff officer to call me back. But as a leader, I'm not going to wait on that because what I do see from my naked eye that somebody got killed. At least now I can begin the conversation. So everything starts with the data first. So once we gather the data, and then someone like me as a council person or the sheriff office will present this to this nuisance abatement board, which will begin to have hearings. And what entails with the hearings, they'll bring the owner, the management company in. Perhaps they can fine him for the maybe first infraction and put him on notice. This is what's going to happen if another occurrence, or perhaps at some point, this is where you hit it if you don't make changes. So it's beginning. Now, this is not a fast process. It's going to take perhaps a couple months. What can speed this up is we go to sleep tonight and we back out here tomorrow because another sense is killing. It would speed it up. I don't wish that. What I wish for that to go away, and I'm gonna do everything I can. But I wish this owner, if he done invested over 2, 3 million, what I've been told, to get security over there and do a better job screening and protecting my community. Any other questions? And so thank y'all for coming. If you again live on Harts Road, you live on the north side of town, I made a commitment 8 months ago, a year ago when we closed it down, that I will stop all this nonsense. I'm gonna stop it. And that's why we're here today, so you can hear my voice as one. And so tomorrow when you go to sleep, the process has begun. That's where we're at now. The process has begun, so you don't have to live like you live over the last 4 or 5 years. So thank y'all.